Be like, you know, people fucking hate me on the Pyro forums. Maybe that's what inspired him to say my wife was a bitch because he thought he could get away with it. Like, you must feel pretty safe with your audience to think you can get away with calling my wife a bitch on your stream and think that looks good on you. You know? Yeah, he did, yeah. I've seen the clip. He's talking about my wife in a clip, and my pregnant at the time, well, she's pregnant now as well, but my pregnant wife calls her a bitch, yeah. But look, I'm only saying that because someone brought up the fact that I'm hated on the Pyro forums, and like, please, I don't want to see anyone like, no. Because one of the weirdest things, and the reason I thought of that clip was because in his chat, when he says that, loads of people agree, and that's horrible to see. So I don't want, if someone watches this clip, I don't want to see anyone being nasty about Pyro because it's just fucking horrible. Like, so, you know, loads of people agree in his chat that my wife is a bitch, but also a lot of people mention that I think bunny girls are Hitler in his chat at that point as well. It's why I thought of it when we were talking about this subject. Sorry, I don't need to defend my wife against Pyro. He's like a foot shorter than my wife for a start. She would fucking destroy him. He made a blanket apology the next stream. Yeah, I don't care. The best thing I can do is not react to it at all because I don't need to, right? No one watches Pyro calling my wife a bitch and thinks to themselves, oh yeah, he's cool, he's winning this argument. No one watches Pyro calling my wife a bitch on his stream and goes, yep, here's a good, well-balanced dude. Like, oh, I wonder if Tali will, like, possibly get out of this hole. Yeah, he's winning like Charlie Sheen right there. So, yeah, I mean, he thinks my wife's a bitch, and that's fine. But he apologized, like, I can't stop someone calling my wife a bitch if that's what they want to do. I'd love to see him say it to her face, though. I would love to see. I would pay good money. Like, Evie doesn't need me to fucking defend her. Like, I would pay good money to see Pyro say that to her face. Like, I would fly him over here to see that happen. Yeah. I would pay awesome money to see that. Even, like, especially pregnant Evie. Oh my god. Pregnant Evie doesn't take no shit. Evie doesn't take any shit at the worst of times, okay? But, like, pregnant Evie, ain't no shit going on there. And like I say, she's like a foot taller than him, so I don't think it would be a very fair fight. And the reason I know she's a foot taller than him is because last BlizzCon, he came up to us and asked for a photo. That's how I know. He came over and asked for a photo. It's not heightism. It's like making an educated guess about who would win the fight. It's not heightism. It's awesome to be short. I wish I was shorter. I'm too tall. I'm far too tall. I would love to be shorter. You know, I'm 6'2". And particularly when I was younger, I was like very thin, right? So I looked like a fucking idiot. I'm a big, lanky, willowy idiot. And if someone offered me a chance to be shorter, I absolutely would take it, genuinely. It's fucking shit being as tall as me. I'd much rather be shorter, especially with as much as I fly on planes. And I know you all think I'm some kind of millionaire because like 500 people watch my streams, right? But I'm not a millionaire, and I get economy flights. And when you get economy flights to America like a few times a year, dude, that shit hurts your legs. Like, the world is not designed for tall people like me. So yeah, if you're 5'1" or 5'2" or whatever, I'm jealous of you, genuinely. You would have a better acting career than me. Like, all film stars, they're very short. But in all likelihood, I probably would beat you in a fight. Because I've got the reach. That's all. Oh, yeah. Obviously, there are exceptions. I'm talking like as a general rule. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. Like, shorter people, I should say, are generally better proportioned. So they just look better on screen. Like, genuinely. Like, short people just look better on film than very tall people do. Because they're usually just better proportioned than tall people. Like, leading men who are short are closer in height to their leading lady, right? So it just looks better when they're standing next to the person they're playing against and stuff like that. So traditionally, that's why film stars have often been shorter than you might expect. Oh, the other weird thing about Pyro calling my wife a bitch was he made it a stream highlight. Like, he didn't just call my wife a bitch. He sat down after his stream and he went, That's totally something I'm going to make a stream highlight. I fucking owned that bit where I called Taliesin's wife, Evitel, someone who I've met in real life and was nice to their face. That bit where I called her a bitch. Awesome. Did you DM him? No, I why would I do that? It doesn't destroy the apology because he made it a highlight before he apologized. I didn't even know he'd apologized, and I think that's great. If that's what he did, that's awesome. I'm not going to go and pick holes in someone's apology. No, he can keep it up if he... Why would I ask him to delete it? There's no... Like I say, there's literally no one who watches that clip and goes, wow, I'd hate to be Taliesin right now. There's no one who watches that clip and comes away from it thinking that Pyro isn't an idiot. If I asked him to take that down, why would I do that? He's winning the argument for me. That highlight was about his lore argument. Yeah, well, I would argue that means that there's even less reason to call my wife a bitch, right? Like, you can say, oh, he was talking about something else, but then isn't it even weirder that he called my wife a bitch in that situation? Like, I don't think your argument is helping him. Like, I don't think you're doing him the favors you think you're doing him there, Zathus. No, Tali, you don't understand. He was actually talking about something completely unrelated to your wife, but just decided to call her a bitch anyway. So I think you can see now that he doesn't deserve shit for it. And I agree. I don't think he deserves shit for it either, but I would love to see them meet in real life. He meant it like, you dick, that was awesome that you did it. I don't think that is what he meant. You got to watch the clip to see what was going on. Okay. So just to be very clear, you're saying that Pyro calling my wife a bitch was in no way meant as an insult. Okay.
And his wife, up on stage in front of everybody, made the very backhanded comment that was abso-fucking-lutely directed at me, where she looks at Steve Danuser and says, so, does this mean Chronicle's canon? With this dumb fucking smile on her face. And I'm just sitting there in the fucking crowd like, you fucking bitch. And Steve Danuser looks at her and goes, well...
I mean, if you think that's a compliment... I'm not very good with human interaction, okay? So you know, I'm probably just misunderstanding, but it didn't appear like a compliment. Also, just for the record, she wasn't talking about you, Pyro. just for the record, she definitely wasn't talking about you, because I've heard her talk about you. And she doesn't say it like that. Should we play some Final Fantasy 14 now, please? Can we do that? Is that allowed? Yeah, I would have to disagree with that being a compliment. And I feel like I understood the context, honestly. But that's fine. I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad that people can see that, honestly. I'm glad that he did that, in a way. Goes without fucking saying, okay? Don't harass the dude. Don't give the dude any shit. Like, he's a much, much, much bigger creator than us anyway, so there's not much we could really do. The whole Chronicle thing's... okay, so, like, I would say that the big difference between me and Pyro is, well, obviously our height, but also, like... the big difference between me and Pyro, apart from the fact he's got, like, loads more viewers than me and is much more popular, the big difference is... I don't care when I'm wrong about lore. If I'm wrong about... I like speculating about stuff and I like making theories and stuff, but if I'm wrong, I don't care. And, like, that's where the whole Taliesin is right thing comes from. It's like a joke because I'm not very often right. Like, there have been some things that I was, like, really right about, but I wouldn't say that I'm often right, and that's kind of the joke, right? I make a joke about how unright I am a lot of the time. That's where the whole Taliesin is right thing comes from. It's because I'm not right. It's a joke. It's like, I know, like, a lot of Americans don't understand self-effacing humor, and I get that. I get it's like a cultural thing, right? It's a cultural thing, I guess. Although a lot of Americans do understand it, but some don't. Yeah, I've been right about a fair bit, but when you throw enough spaghetti at the wall like I do, you're going to be right about a lot of stuff, right? And, you know, I make a joke of thinking I'm awesome about it, but, like, genuinely, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, and I don't mind, I don't care. So I'd say that's probably the main difference. Tapper Groat, thank you very, very much